Right. Video on hypocrisy and I don't know. It's an ultra complicated thing that is shown by the program Sopranos in a very good way. No, that's the wrong title. Not hypocrisy. I don't know. Double stand. I don't know the word for it. There's a sort of one-way rule or a one-way system where, and Mark Hutton talks about this. So like NT, I don't like going on about this, but there's a one-wayness about it, right? So they can. So for example, an infraction of their so-called rules, which you're not even a member of their language group, but an infraction of their rules is met with very high aggression and anger and all this unpleasant stuff. But then they can. I don't know what other way to say it, okay? Because I don't like saying it in this way. Be aggressive to you, or they, or call you weirdo, or they can. When they do it, it's okay, but when you do things, then it's wrong, and it just the one-wayness of it, and the unfairness of it. And I know again, left-handed and right-handed, and if 90% of people are right-handed, the infrastructure, I get all that, but I don't know, it just grates with me that sort of. That when they do it, it's fine. And it's to do with, again, them being the dominant culture and the dominant numbers. I get all that, but I don't know the answer, really, unless you lived in a society of purely ND people, which would have its own problems. It really would. But, yeah, it just... The one-wayness and the double standard is just a bit... Again, call me pedantic or OCD, but it just grates with me. It just doesn't seem like justice, that they can call you freak, weird, odd, but like all the worst and way worse, but millions times worse being called. But that's not really the point. The point is how they can. I don't really know the word. They seem to be able to sort of do anything or say anything and it's fine, but the other way around, and it's very like the liberal thing. It's fine whatever they but not, and it basically the way it comes across is anything you do is wrong and anything they do is good, and it doesn't seem to make sense. And again, maybe that's me just being pedantic, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. And it's the same with the clothes, you have to wear their fashion or listen to their music, which is auto-tune, which is not particularly pleasant, although they don't. It seems to be utilitarian. So NT culture seems to be, and underline the word culture, I'm not talking about all the individuals by any stretch of the imagination, but it seems to be utilitarian. It doesn't. It's not. It's beyond left and right, because I've witnessed so many NT right-leaning people say be on the same level on a smaller micro scale and a much smaller scale, that I think it's not. It's much beyond this so-called left-right thing. It's way beyond that. It's utilitarian, as far as I can see. The Western philosophy word utilitarian, where it's sort of practical, but in a very not even amoral, where it's neutral. So it's, if you imagine like a physics class, it's not positive or negative. It's actually neutral. It's just sort of whatever works. I mean, if it was popular to be, non-liberal, they would do that in 3 seconds. It's utilitarian, I think, in my opinion, in my observation, that normal culture, anti-culture, is utilitarian, which seems quite sad, again, in my opinion, because it means that no one has their own mind or their own thoughts, or on this external surface. I'm sure people say internally, psychologically, yada yada, but it just seems a shame. Can't imagine it would be pleasant, and I wonder if they are jealous of the freedom that sometimes I have had in being able to say things or whatever. And it's not so much freedom, but or try and wear my own clothes, where you get viciously berated for it. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm seeing at the moment. Again, maybe I'm being hyper pedantic here and just losing sight of the thing, but that is what I see as it is. The NT culture is a utilitarian system or a utilitarian approach. I don't know. Meaning it's not evil versus good or evil or good or bad. It's none of those. It's third way. It's neutral and it's just whatever works. And if, something on the negative scale works, they'll do that. Something on the positive scale, and something on the neutral scale works, they'll do. It's just whatever. It's not. It has no loyalty. I think is what I'm saying. But I don't know. I think the point I'm trying to say is that it just doesn't. And again, there's one of Mark Hutton's videos where this topic is mentioned. This sort of one-way system. Where they can wear their fashion or listen to their autotune or whatever, which again seems quite lowbrow in my opinion. But then you can't have any sort of rebuttal. There's no sort of. It's almost like, shut up and sit down. That's how the energy feels. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But it's and then as people know, being told that they'll say they're liberal and they love all these groups and that group and we're wonderful to it, and then to is like doubly worse because it's like a sort of schizoid kind of thing about sort of splits your brain in two because they're telling you that they're liberal and they love all these different groups, oppressed groups, but then they're attacking your neuro minority, so it sort of rips your psyche into, which does very odd damage to your psychological health. But yeah, the one-wayness, I think the main point I want to make here, the one-wayness doesn't seem right, but again, is that just OCD and pedanticness, or is that true? It feels true, yeah.